Argentina's authorities announced they have been able to reach an agreement with the International Monetary Fund for a debt revision. In Spain, right-wing bloc failed to win an outright majority in the country's snap general election. And in Russia, President Vladimir Putin and his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko met to discuss the Ukrainian conflict and Kiev's failed counteroffensive. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. Argentina's authorities were able to reach an agreement with the International Monetary Fund for a debt revision. The Ministry of Economy and officials of the country's central bank, together with officials of the IMF, reached the finalization of the technical work steps for the revision of the term and conditions of the debt refinancing agreement signed in March 2022. The government seeks to reformulate the current maturity schedule and obtain new payments that will allow it to overcome the shortages of dollars in central banks' reserves. Brazil's Minister of Justice called for debating the very dangerous nepotisms of the 21st century. Brazil's Minister of Justice and Public Security, Flavio Dino, defended a bill of a law reform that increases penalties of those who attack democratic institutions in the South American country. In a message maintaining on social network, he spoke about the very dangerous nepotism of the 21st century. The official argued that in the name of the principles of proportionality, the perpetrators of crimes against the democratic order and its guardians should be punished in virtue of the defense of the Constitution. The latest survey by the Institute of Peruvian Studies shows that 81.6% of the citizens reject the administration of President Dina Boluarte. 75% of the people said the current president should resign, while 90.4% expressed their rejection towards the Congress. Meanwhile, 58% of the people said they identified with protest, and 49% said they think Boluarte's government is not a democracy. And in Ecuador, political violence depends with less than a month to go before the next elections. This Sunday, the mayor of the town of Manta was assassinated after a mob attack. According to the reconstruction of the events, the mayor, Agustin Intriago, was coordinating a construction site in a sector when a subject shot 6 times in his direction. Local media reported that a woman was also killed during the attack. The attack takes place while the campaign for the first round of the presidential and legislative elections is advancing. In this regard, government authorities rejected the death of the functionary. In Guatemala, social movements, students, and unions called for a march of flowers against the actions of the Public Prosecutor's Office and in favor of democracy in the country. Organizers urged that urge all sectors of the population to join in a massive demonstration in favor of democracy, since the Public Prosecutor's Office seems to be hindering a runoff. The mobilizations start at the Human Rights Square in front of the Supreme Court of Justice and ends outside the Public Prosecutor's Office. Local and international organizations have expressed the importance of respecting the popular will expressed at the polls, and that a runoff elections be held on August 20th. In the United States, on Sunday, Arizona residents affected by the heat wave in the southwest of the nation warned that poorer communities and homeless people are suffering the most from the current environmental crisis. Arizona's capital has seen record-breaking high temperatures over the past few weeks. The director of the Arizona Burn Center, Dr. Kevin Foster, points out they are seeing lots of patients who are falling down untouched concrete pavements, falls, and suffering related burns as a result of the heat.
My situation, I couldn't afford a new air conditioner, and it was about $2,000. I had to look for an alternative, and another man did it for $800, and he gave me a payment option. I had no choice. I had to do it, even though it was a significant expenditure I had not planned for.
In India, death toll rises after landslide caused by heavy rains in Maharashtra state. The death toll after a massive landslide in central eastern India rose to 27 deaths and at least 50 missing, officials announced Sunday. The landslides triggered by monsoon rains occurred on Thursday in a village in Maharashtra state. The official was not optimistic about the possibility of finding more survivors. According to local media, several families perished in the landslide. Since the onset of the monsoon in earlier June, floods and landslides have left 1,000 deaths in the country. In Uruguay, at least 2,000 penguins appeared dead on the east coast of the country, an event that has intensified in the last 3 years, surpassing the usual percentage of penguin deaths. The Ministry of Environment explains that these penguins died in the Atlantic and were taken by the currents to the beaches bordering Brazil. The NGO Fauna Marina denounced that causes of the catastrophe might be a consequence of overfishing and climate change on marine currents. Authorities report that all samples of penguin tested negative for avian influenza. Let's take a short break, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English. There you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. Leader of the Spanish Socialist Worker Party, PSOE, Pedro Sanchez, celebrated in Madrid the result of this political party in the general elections held this Sunday in Spain. Sanchez thanked the voters for demonstrating that Spain has a large and clear democracy, particularly more than 7 billion people who voted for the PSOE. He affirmed that they'd have won more votes and seats than in the previous elections. According to the report, with 99.23% of the votes counted, the PSOE and Sumar retained 122 and 31 seats respectively in Congress, while the PP and Vox obtained 136 and 33 respectively. This complicates the option of forming a right-wing bloc, as they are 7 parliamentarians away from the absolute majority. Moreover, it allows the left-wing bloc to position itself very close to the government, depending on the outcome of negotiations between PSOE and Sumar, and smaller formations such as Republican Left of Catalonia, Basque Nationalist Party, Euskal Herrera de Bildu, and Junts per Catalunya. The Minister of the Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez, reaffirmed the failure of the evolutionist bloc that sought the country's regression.
I believe that Spain has been very clear. Spain and all its citizens who have voted have been crystal clear. The backward involutionist bloc that proposed a total repeal of all the progress we have achieved during the last 4 years has failed. It has failed.
Also, Pedro Sanchez reaffirmed the defeat of the right-wing bloc led by the Popular Party together with the Vox Party.
Those who plan Marxism, the regression in rights and freedoms have failed today, and the involutionist bloc of the Popular Party with Vox had been defeated. There are many more of us who want Spain to continue advancing than to follow the path of regression marked by the Popular Party with votes. So Spain, Spaniards, comrades, we are more, many more, who want Spain to advance, and it will continue to be so.
The leader of the Sumar party, Yolanda Díaz, highlighted the triumph of democracy in a country after general elections.
Democracy today has won, and democracy today is strengthened. We have won. Today we have a better country.
For her part, a candidate of Junts per Catalunya, Marian Nogueras, affirmed that after the electoral results, they will not make Pedro Sánchez president in exchange for nothing.
In June, we have maintained our position, and it has not been easy to do so. We have received a lot of pressure and we have received a lot of criticism, but it has been worthwhile to maintain our position. I would not tremble at all in continuing to maintain our position. We will not make Pedro Sánchez president in exchange for nothing.
The Popular Party candidate Alberto Núñez Feijóo demanded PSOE not block the Spanish government.
I ask the Socialist Party expressly and the rest of the political forces not to block the government of Spain once again.
On the other hand, the candidate of ultra-right Vox Party, Santiago Abascal, claims that there was manipulation of the media, which caused failure of some alternative.
There has been much more manipulation exercised for almost all public and private media, some to prevent the alternatives, and it must be said that they have succeeded, and others to allow their masters to govern alone, and it must be said that they have failed, and have made the sum of the alternative fail.
In Cambodia, polls close and vote counting is underway. Prime Minister Hun Sen's ruling party declared that it was on course for the landslide victory. 18 political parties participated in these elections, which, according to the country's legal framework, must be held every 5 years. All 23,789 polling stations spread throughout the country opened almost simultaneously. More than 9.7 million people were registered to vote in Cambodia's 7th election since the United Nations first sponsored polls in 1993 after years of conflict. According to the National Elections Committee, voters turnout recorded at 3:16 p.m. local time was 84%. Official results are expected to be announced between Sunday night and Monday morning. The results will be officialized on August the 9th. In Rome, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni led a Mediterranean conference on migration. Meloni has leaders of Mediterranean countries for an international conference aimed at extending the model agreement signed by the European Union with Tunisia to curb migration to Europe. Premier Meloni opened the conference shortly after 1 p.m. local time in the presence of leaders from the region, the European Union, and representatives of financial institutions. On Sunday, rescue teams searched for survivors under the rubble of a bridge that collapsed in the western Greek town of Patras. Greek authorities said some 35 firefighters and 12 vehicles were sent to the scene on a road leading to the capital. So far, preliminary data report 8 injured and 1 death. Fire brigade spokesman said traffic had been closed on the bridge since July the 20th due to demolition work for the reconstruction of the subway and that the reasons for the collapse of the bridge were not immediately clear. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you will be able to watch on interviews of stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. We'll financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko met to discuss the Ukrainian conflict and the Kiev failed counteroffensive. President Putin estimated that the irrecoverable losses of the Kiev forces since the beginning of their counteroffensive already exceed 26,000 people. Likewise, the Belarusian president stated that there is no Ukrainian counteroffensive, while President Putin points out that there is a counteroffensive that failed. Russia's defense ministry will report issues on Sunday that confirm that Russian troops have repelled Ukrainian attacks on several fronts. In Lysychansk, Soledar, and Bakhmut, the group suppressed an attempt assault by Ukrainian troops. With aviation support, they neutralized enemy formations. Also, in other cities, air support fired missiles at Ukrainian troops earlier detected by the reconnaissance units. The Russian Defense Ministry also reacted to Ukrainian claims, said that Russia is responsible for the destruction of an Orthodox cathedral in Odessa. The statement issued by the Defense Ministry says that the target set for destruction, namely facilities where terrorist attacks were being prepared with the use of drones, were located at a safe distance from the cathedral. Data further explained that the planning of Russia's attack is carried out with precision weapons against the military and terrorist infrastructure of the Kiev regime. On Sunday, China and Russia concluded a joint naval exercise in the sea of Japan that aims to assert the security of strategic maritime passage. The Chinese Defense Ministry said the Northern Interaction 2023 exercise was held to enhance strategic cooperation between the two countries and strengthen their ability to jointly safeguard regional peace and stability. Over the past 4 days, the participating units from Chinese and Russian navies carried out a series of joint missions, including maritime and air escort deterrence and expulsion and concurrent defense.
The exercise major real combat actions for China and Russia to jointly assert the security of the strategic maritime passage, as well as an important practice for the two militaries to deepen joint naval and aerial operations. The exercise has substantially elevated the strategic cooperation between the two countries and the two militaries to another level, while playing a positive role in maintaining stability in the Northeast Asia region.
On Sunday, Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein assured his Yemeni counterpart that his nation is willing to mediate and be part of the solution to end the war in Yemen. According to the UN, the conflict that began in 2014 has caused the biggest humanitarian catastrophe on the planet. At a press conference in Baghdad on the occasion of the first visit of a Yemeni head of diplomacy to the country, Hussein assured that his country supports any political effort that supports the stability of Yemen following the recent talks between Saudi Arabia and Houthi forces.
The Iraqi government is ready to help in this matter. The Iraqi government and the foreign ministry have good relations with all parties. We can use our influence for stability and security in Yemen, and we can act on a regional level.
Regarding the offer by the Iraqi government to mediate the conflict, Yemen's Minister of Foreign Affairs stressed that the agreement broken by the mediation effort of Beijing has not had any impact on the situation in Yemen.
Unfortunately, for now, we have not seen any direct impact on this agreement on the situation in Yemen, but we remain hopeful, and as I explained to the minister, we have an unofficial truce since last October as the legitimate government. We are abiding by the terms of this truce, and believe the time has come to put an end to this war in Yemen. Unfortunately, for now, we have not seen any direct impact on this agreement on the situation in Yemen.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. TeleSUR English, and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.